So one of you guys has been watching a bunch of my pencil reviews, which I did about a year ago this time, and you can see all of those pencil reviews on my channel. I think I reviewed maybe 6 or 7 different brands, I can't remember now. And one of the more popular brands that I've seen a lot of people use that I remember using years ago, I did not review, and I'm going to explain why I didn't review that. But one of you guys who was watching asked me to review them, and it's the Staedtler Mars Lumograph Pencils. They're a blue pencil. You can see, you might recognize this set. So the reason that I didn't review them a year ago is because over the last decade, I've been teaching at the Austin Museum Art School. It's called the Contemporary, and we have an art school at the Laguna Gloria campus. And a lot of my students would come in with one of these tins. And what I noticed is that in comparison to the other students in the class, the Mars Lumograph pencils always looked like they were made of carbon, or part carbon, part graphite. They looked sort of like graphite, but when they got to the higher number pencils of soft pencils, the 6, 7, and 8B, those looked like they were just carbon. They had no graphite sheen to them. They were more speckly. They were a bluer black rather than a warmer black. And so they always seemed to handle just a little bit differently than the graphite pencils. And because of that, I usually encourage my students to purchase a different set because they manipulate differently than graphite. So one of you guys, ECurry, asked me to review these, and I was like, I will, but I'm gonna tell you that I don't like them for the reasons that I just stated. So I ordered a set, one of these tins. This is a 12 pencil set. It goes from 2H to 8B. And I ordered it about a month ago, and I've been using them in the studio for the last month just to sort of try them out and see what I think about them. And they're totally different. So that was really interesting. Actually, maybe I ordered them longer than a month ago because there was another one of you followers, Tony, in New Hampshire. He and I were having a conversation about a pencil sharpener by email, and he told me that he thought that they stopped using carbon in these. So I think that was longer than a month ago. Anyways, doesn't really matter. The point is that they don't seem to have carbon in them anymore, and I now like them because they're graphite, which is my favorite. So let's take a look down at the page. I'm going to first show you a comparison of a bunch of different brands, and then we'll talk about the value scale that you can get with this set. So first off, let's look at, you can see I'm going to use an eraser to point these out. This one is the Mars Lumograph BLACK. Now this is their carbon set, the Staedtler carbon set. And that black, you can see that when I rotate the page, you'll see no sheen at this darkest, most pressured level. Whereas the next set down is the Mars Lumograph. This is the graphite set. And when you look at that 6B where I pressed really hard right here, you will see some shine to it as I move it back and forth as it catches the light. So that's how you can tell the difference between carbon and graphite, is that graphite will have the sheen, carbon will not have the sheen. Carbon is going to look like it's a bluer black. Graphite will look like it's a warmer black. So those are the two sets, but we're just going to be talking about the Mars Lumograph Staedtler set right now. What I wanted to do though was test it against the Faber-Castell 9000, the Tombow Mono Homograph, the Mitsubishi Hayuni, the Caran d'Ache Graphwood, the Derwent Graphic, and the Raffine Art Sketch. So those, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets are the ones that I've reviewed over the last year. Comparatively, the Mars Lumograph and the Mitsubishi Hayuni seem to be sort of, and actually the Raffine Art Sketch, those three seem to be sort of a standard hardness versus softness. The Faber-Castell runs a little bit harder. The Derwent runs a little bit harder, and then the Tombow Mono Homograph and the Caran d'Ache run a little bit softer. The Mitsubishi tends to be my favorite, but those are harder to replace. And the Raphine tend to break a lot. So these Mars Lumograph actually are turning out to be one of my favorites to use. So I'm going to try these with a commission drawing or something that I'm drawing for myself. In the next month or two, I'll let you know if my opinion changes. But they do seem to be a little bit more speckly in nature, which I don't like. However, they're very consistent. They're sort of a medium hardness or softness throughout the entire line. Here's a pair that I drew with it. So this was a 6B, just to sort of test it out and see what it looked like and see how it felt. And that's how I could tell that it was sort of feeling like it wasn't too soft or too hard. The other thing that I think is nice about this brand is that it has this little symbol on the box, the PEFC. So that means that this company is considering the environment when they're harvesting the wood. They're trying to do something that's more ecological and sustainable for the environments where they're taking the wood. The last thing I will say is that the leads do say in the company website, it says that they're bonded and they are stronger so that you're going to experience less breakage. And that has been the case so far, although you can tell that the 8B is the one that I've used the most, and I still haven't gotten very far into the pencil. So it could be that there's some breakage in here that I haven't discovered yet. But so far, thanks to you guys, I am discovering that I like these pencils very much, just like I used to. They do seem to be like they are made out of graphite and not carbon, and I would definitely highly recommend them. I think I paid about $1.66 per pencil, which is sort of an average cost as well. Maybe a little bit towards the higher end of costs, but it's an easily affordable cost that I can manage throughout my practice in the studio. So thanks for the suggestion, you guys, and I hope that helps you out with your Staedtler pencils. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, LZM Studio, where I frequently release quick tips and all kinds of different ideas about drawing. Also check out my Facebook and my Instagram page. I like to show photographs of my artwork, of my students' artwork, and share funny stories from my students on those pages. And then check out my website, lzmstudio.com, where you're going to find more inspiration and full-length, detailed tutorials.